Hey everybody, and today for another boss fight, welcome back. Today we're going to be fighting the Barrows brothers. Now I've never done this boss fight before, and I was actually kind of worried going into it just because, like growing up, I always felt like the Barrows brothers were always just kind of out of reach. Just because of the level that they are between being level 98 and being level 125. So jumping into this right away, kind of didn't know what I was doing, so I wanted to dig at the first mound, but a strange old man stopped me from doing that. And then I figured out that you need a strange icon, or at least that's what you're going for. And I really didn't know how this worked. So first got to talk to him, and then you start digging. And well, on the positive note of this fight, I did start with the magic user, so I kind of got the hardest part out of the way, but I didn't realize just how badly I was going to get whooped by some of the melee users, and I can't recommend enough to bring prayer potions with you. This was one big mistake that I had made coming into this, and yeah, we were kind of overzealous and just jumping straight into it. I didn't really know what I was getting into here. So, yeah, first Barrows brother, Aram, was kind of easy. I mean, using Protect from Magic kind of kept me alive in this, especially with the strength, attack, and defense potions. With all the magic that he uses, will bring you down actually quite some bit. So make sure to keep these with you. I cannot stress enough food and potions for this fight. And if you have enough construction near the end of the tunnels underneath the crypt, there is a stash that you can build. But I did not know this going into it, so I didn't do it. So yeah, first fight wasn't too hard. He doesn't really have high defense against attack or melee, but everybody else really does. So I kind of overestimated and thought that this is going to be a little bit easier than I originally had anticipated, but it didn't really turn out to be that way. So here we are, first one's done. I'm going to run back out, and I'd recommend, don't do what I did. Please turn off your prayer when you're jumping into another one, because every point really matters, and every time they attack you, most of the Barrows brothers do have a thing about them where they can drain your prayer with some of the attacks that they use. Now, Torek wasn't bad either. I think I really started losing it around Daharik and just that battle axe. Either that or it was Gunthin with a spear. And I couldn't tell you why the spear did me in, but it was probably because I ran out of prayer potions. But as the fight goes on, it kind of is lengthy, and I definitely should have brung like super attack potions or even just more attack potions, because I can't tell you how many times I watched myself hit a 0 and just watched them decimate that health bar of mine. So yeah, we get in a couple of hits, take a couple of hits, and you will see just how fast my prayer does drain from some of the special attacks that they have. And so you jump from 41 down to 39, and then it starts draining normal just because he hasn't hit me with anything that would do it. And down to 35. 24. So you saw that 10-point jump. That is the shit that will take you out. And that was what actually did me in the first couple of times that I came down here. And then it was time to go off to the next mound. So as I was going to the flail-wielding brother in the next mound, I was kind of just thinking to myself, I wonder how many prayer potions I really will have left at the end of this, because I kind of underestimated just how much each brother would require to get through. And hitting good numbers is a good thing to see, especially when you are worried about supplies running low. And being the third out of 6, and everything kind of running low at this point, I was kind of just mentally preparing to come back here because I kind of knew that I wasn't going to make it out of here for the first run through. So made it good down to about a quarter of his health, and still had enough prayer to carry me through, and I was pretty confident that I would make it through at least this fight, but I wasn't so sure about how far I'd get, especially through 4 and 5. But he does have some pretty good defense, and, well, I do too, while equipping some defense potions and kind of trying to just keep my health at a steady rate at this point. It was just kind of interesting to always just hit flat zeros when I got him down to about a quarter of health. And I don't know if the Barrows brothers do have any kind of special abilities once you get them past a certain point in their health bar, but I was kind of thinking at some point that maybe he did have a special attribute just because of how hard it was to get him past a quarter of his health. And I personally would recommend not fighting the Barrows brothers until you are at least level 80 or 75. Alright, now it's over to the next mound, to the Daharic fight. And later in the year, about January 1st, we're going to be starting a new series, and it's going to be starting fresh. And we are, of course, going to get membership for that account. But, yeah, we're going to start pretty much back to level 1 with everything, just a little level 3. And we're going to kind of go through using some of the methods that I've shown in my videos to get my levels up pretty quick. Because, you know, I've always used these methods and I can kind of show you how they apply. I'll also be going over some quests that will get you to higher level pretty soon, sooner rather than later. And I'll take you along for the journey. And now here with about 20 health, only got about 2 prayer potions left. And down to about 7 prayer. Shaking in my boots. Hopefully this would last a little bit longer, but unfortunately with boss fights you just never know. So I started utilizing the last of it, and you can see my prayer went out right about here, and it's kind of negligent to recharge it when I really should have been on top of it. And you'll just start seeing how high in numbers that the Barrows brothers will start hitting you for, especially when you don't have any protection spells. And they do hit flat zeros most of the time. You can hit a pretty good number, but eventually they will start creeping up on you and start hitting some absolutely diabolical numbers on your health bar. And I mean, I think I was hit for a total of a 15, a 17, and close to my entire health bar actually when I was in the Gunthin fight. And being without prayer at this point, it really just comes down to you, your weapon, your special ability, and food, because the only thing that you don't want to happen is just to get one hit out of here. And we got him to about half health, and if the Barrows brothers do have any special attributes about them, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Maybe I could come back and actually do this properly, because this was my very first time ever fighting them, and I just thought it would be a good idea maybe to pop on the recorder and bring you guys along for it. And I'm not sure what the drop rate is actually for a Barrows brothers item, but I know that in the beginning when you first get here, the strange man's going to want you to get a strange icon, and unfortunately I'd actually made it through this entire fight with all 6 of them. And I went to the chest beneath the crypt, and I didn't have enough inventory space to take the icon with me, so I never got it. So I'll have to come back here and actually retrieve the icon before I can continue, kind of, ooh, yeah, see, at 49. That is absolutely crazy. I've never been hit for such a high number. But I still had some food, wasn't too worried about it. Still might be able to get out of this one. And about one more hit, and Aharik will be defeated. And there it is. All right. And now it's off to the fight that just did me in. Off to Gunthin. And over to the next mound we go. All right, now in this mound is Gunthin. This is the spear-wielding brother, and you can kind of get a good indication of who you're going to go fight when you read the Crumbling Tome and maybe what they'll utilize and a little bit of lore. But when we came around here, it's about 4th brother, and I am out of everything. And this is why it was so important to stock properly. He hits me for an immediate 20, and I have like a herring left and a tuna. So I don't have any good HP items, and he will absolutely just decimate you. And I'm not sure what the recommended level to come down here and fight them and not really get just styled on is, but melee definitely is a more blunt approach to fighting the Barrows brothers. I've been down here, and even in the last fight, you could see magic users kind of just fly through it. And I might end up training my magic to get up to ancient magic just because of how fast he did it. It was kind of surprising to me, and I'm pretty sure the only person that he did actually struggle with was probably the magic user just because of the natural resistance. But in the future, if you have any ideas for any content that you would like to see on the channel, feel free to let me know. I'm always really receptive, and I like responding to the people that come and spend their time and watch these videos. It means a whole lot to me, and I'm glad you guys are all here. And I cannot wait to see you all at the drop party coming December 1st at about 1 p.m. Central Time. And this is going to be on World 301, so everybody that takes part in watching these videos does have a chance to win something. There isn't going to be any exclusivity to it. You can just come on down and have a chance. And hopefully we'll see you there. And I'm about 15 health at this point, getting really worried. I'm about out of everything, and at this point I'm like, there's no way we're making it out of here alive. Hit a good number, and for the first time, I die on camera. So, we're back to Lumbridge, and I'll get back to you guys when we're back at the Barrows. Alright, then we made it back to Gunthin, and now we have kind of a better loadout when it comes to some of the potions that I brought with, and this was just kind of me preparing myself for the next two, which really didn't prove to be too difficult, because Karil doesn't really have that high of health, and he's kind of weak to melee, so back at the Gunthin fight, I really did make sure just to absolutely pack my inventory full of prayer potions and just attack, defense, a little bit of everything. And this actually proved to be very effective, so in my opinion, it's almost better to carry more potions with you than it is to carry food with you, because as long as you can keep your prayer and defense and attack up, the draining skills that they have on your prayer really won't affect you all too much. And I really don't know why Gunthin proved to be such a harder opponent than most of the rest of the brothers, and maybe this is just because of his stats being different than the rest, or maybe the attack type that I'm using, but we do dwindle his health in this fight actually quite a bit quicker than we did last time. And again, maybe it was just luck, maybe it was the attack style I'm using, maybe it was the special attacks, I'm not really sure. I wasn't really too informed about what they're capable of, what their weaknesses are, just stuff like that. And we'll speed it up here, because we made it about 3/4 of this fight through before I actually died, so I'll catch y'all back when we kind of defeat him. Okay, and as that finished up, it is time to go to the last mound. And when you dig down here, this is where you will encounter Carl. And you go into the crypt below, and this is where the Barrows chest is kept. And he kind of pops out on you randomly, so there is no real telling where he might be when you get down here. But there's going to be kind of a little bit of a labyrinth. It's got many doors that only open kind of like the security stronghold in the barbarian village, but it's only like one way through and one way back, and you can kind of figure it out because it'll only let you open one door. But he wasn't really that hard of a fight, just due to the fact that protect from range kind of keeps you safe the entire fight. He does hit through you a couple of times, but it's nothing really to be worried about. Honestly, at this point, I think I was more worried just about the sheer amount of level 77 skeletons that were chilling in every room. But we finished this fight up actually quite quickly. And coming back down here, I feel like I might take care of the mage user and probably the ranged first before I went through the rest of the Barrows brothers. And I probably ended on Daharic just because he didn't seem to be that hard of an enemy to defeat. And we got him to about a quarter of his health, and we're hitting pretty good numbers on him. And I think one of these will be kind of the last strike that we need just to finish him off. And then we need to make our way through the crypt. Now, Carl does drain your agility, so if you do him last, he is definitely going to affect how fast you can get through to the Barrows chest. And there he goes. And I'll get us to the crypt door. So you run to the door and there's going to be a puzzle, and I actually kind of guessed this randomly and I went with a square and it opened, which was kind of convenient. I really didn't think I was going to get it on the first go. So just finish up these little critters that are kind of wandering around by the doors if it's not a skeleton. And sometimes you can just kind of bypass it and run through the door. And square. Alright, and we'll get through there. There's a skeleton. Kind of just ignore him. And make sure you do clean out your inventory, because if you don't, you might not get the strange icon. And the strange icon I didn't get. So I will have to end up coming back down here, unfortunately, and fighting the Barrows brothers again. And we start making our way out and up to the sarcophagus room. And let's go up the stairs. And well, there you have it, guys. That was all of the Barrows brothers. And once you do have the strange icon, just go to the strange old man and give it to him. And I'm not sure what happens after that because I didn't get it. So I will, I'll run through this again so I can actually get the strange icon. But thank you all for stopping by. Thanks for checking out all the previous videos. I really appreciate all the subs, and I really hope to see you guys on the 21st. But as always, have a good day and all the best. Hope to see you in the next video.